Mason Brooks joins for the Mason Brooks Show, presented by The Rogue. It is Tuesday, August the 2nd, a little after 10 o'clock in the morning as we record this. Probably about 2 hours or so till things in Mason's life changes dramatically for the next few weeks. First of all, welcome in, bud. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm ready to get things started. Kind of been moving, literally moving out of our place. So it's been a hectic weekend, and you got things moving and shaking now in football. So just excited to kind of do my sport, you know?
Yeah. So I know you go through spring and stuff, and that's one thing, right? It's kind of it's a practice and stuff. But when you show up for preseason camp in August, I mean, it's a different feeling. You know, you're going to be getting ready for games. It's not like, hey, we're getting ready to go play each other in a spring game, and some of us will wear a red jersey and some of us will wear a white jersey and whatever. This is going to be different. What is the excitement level for you right now?
Oh, it's the high end and low. I can't wait for season. But at the same time, fall camp is just a month of essentially not playing yet, which always bugs me about week 2 because I'm just ready to let's go. But I need it. I think the team needs it. I think this fall camp's really important. It's a young team paired with a lot of new pieces. On the team, you got all these transfers coming in, and you got some older guys that are meshing with those guys, and then you have some young guys. There's just a lot of moving pieces and parts. So these next couple of weeks are really important to kind of get everything ironed out. Post spring. So
I have a general idea of what a day of camp is like, but for the listeners and viewers that don't, take me through a day where you've got practice that begins about 9. So when you see practice begins at 9, that means your day begins when? Take me through kind of what a typical day looks like.
Well, depending on how good your body feels, might depend on when you get up, and it might not be what you think. The worse your body feels, probably the earlier you're getting up. I see practice starts at 9 or 10-ish. I'm probably up at 6:30. Going in, you got mandatory breakfast. You're going to have weigh-ins. Those will start, probably 7:30. So guys are coming in at 6:30 to treat their body for injuries and do some preventative stuff. After mandatory breakfast, you need to make weight every day because every day you can lose. I mean, in fall camp, in the heat, you can lose, 5 to 10 pounds. It really happens. So, of course, they're tracking all that, and they make you eat. You got to eat. I'm not a big morning eater, so sometimes I got to force down a bagel. After that, you have meetings, lots of meetings. You'll have a whole unit meeting, a position group meeting, maybe some smaller special teams meetings. You'll have a stretch, pre-practice, practice. Obviously, it's the big chunk of the day. Post-practice, probably break for lunch, maybe a little gap in there, hour gap in there. And then afternoon, you're going to have lift, more meetings, probably some more treatment, on your body, get some stretching in, walkthroughs, meet again, usually dinner. So it's pretty much, from 9 to 9, or it's supposed to be from 8 to 8, but it's really from late to late. It's an all go thing. There's really nothing like it, but I do believe and agree that it is the only way to really get ready for season. It's the only way to get in good season shape. It's the only way to get your mind right. And while it's very difficult, I think it's really where teams are made and really where you see kind of what you're working with.
Do you block out the heat part of this? I mean, you talk to baseball players early in a baseball season, they're like, yeah, it's cold, but we can't think about how cold it is. For you guys, you're out there working. Yeah, it's hot. It's 90 something degrees. And when you're on that turf, it's like 130 degrees. That turf's like another deal. Do you have to just block that out, or is that something that's constantly sort of lingering in your mind late in the practice when everything on your body is soaking wet and you're just trying to get yet you're trying to focus and get ready for a season and all that stuff? How do you sort of deal with the heat?
Well, I mean, I grew up in Texas, so I'm used to the heat. I think, and I haven't done it yet in Mississippi, but from what I've perceived, the air here is very thick. And I don't know if people have been watching the weather, but it's been raining a lot and it doesn't look very rainy today. So my suspicion is that it's going to be very thick and humid, in fall camp. So that the thin air, or the thick air, I should say, is a little harder to ignore. But yeah, I try to, ignore the heat. The heat, makes everybody soft. It really does. And it shows you, really who you are, honestly. I mean, it is the great, tester, if you will. So, you remember, everyone else is hot. Everyone else is working through the same stuff. And, I have a job to do, try to block it out the best I can. But definitely, especially with my fair skin, I'm loading up on sunscreen and I'm, spraying my neck. Yeah. Hold on. Hey, Reese, I'm doing an interview. Well, I need a toilet. All right, I got you. Hold on.
Okay, hold on. All right, I'll tell you a little bit about the Rogue while Mason's gone. The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, Mississippi. You can also find them at therogue.com. They've got a complete selection of whatever it is, whatever clothing you're looking for. It's for the best. It's the place to go for fine men's clothing. They're stylish, hand select pieces from top designers, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. There's the perfect something for everyone at the Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more. It's 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. Their classic style, attention to detail, commitment to excellent service continues to make the Rogue a very special place to shop. We're also brought to you by Liston & Dees. It's a full-service law firm located in Ridgeland, Mississippi. Focuses on complex civil litigation. Liston & Dees' clients include individuals, businesses, and state governments throughout the United States. Glad to have you back. I know it's a hectic time. I was going to ask you about weight, because obviously for a lineman and for anybody, but you're playing in the heat, you're out there for hours at a time. You're going to drop probably closer to 10 pounds than 5 each day. How difficult is it for a guy like you? And I know people look at your weight and they go, oh, he's 300 pounds, but you don't have a lot of excess weight. You're not trying to drop down to 282 or something. How do you kind of keep the weight where it is while also going through all the exertion that you go through?
Oh yeah, no, I struggled with it earlier in my career, because I was trying to put on, 20 plus pounds. And I thought that when I got to 300 pounds, it would stop. But like you said, it doesn't ever stop, really. It's a constant snacking, a constant drinking, water. It's really just become part of my regular day-to-day. But in fall camp, it's cranked up. I have either a cup of water or a bag of some sort of snack on me at all times. Because like you said, you have to, otherwise you won't make your weight the next morning. It's just something that becomes, almost second nature. But you really, you're drinking, a gallon plus of water a day, trying to eat between 5,000 and 7,000 calories, really more if you can, just because of the amount of calories that you're going to burn, out there, plus the amount of calories you just burn in general. So it really is, it sounds fun, right? Eat whatever I want as much as I want, but it's not as fun as you might think. So.
Well, you say that about being a morning person. I'm the same way. I notice my son's the same way. People who don't like to eat early in the morning don't like to eat early in the morning. It's one of the, it kind of makes you feel sluggish, and it feels heavy on your stomach, all that stuff. You're not a morning eater, yet they're going to make you eat, and you have to eat. Otherwise, you're not going to get through that practice, efficiently. How do you sort of manage that? Because if it's a regular April day, you're like, screw it, man. I'll handle it. I'm not going to eat right now.
I try to pick things that I like. And also I'm old enough now where I kind of know what agrees with my stomach and what doesn't. I'm going to pick things that if they do, visit me again, it's not going to be not a fun time, because that heat might bring it back up. So I try to I try to keep it as light as I can for heavy breakfast. Really just eggs, toast, granola bars. If I can't do a full spread breakfast, at least trying to get a bagel and some peanut butter, some sort of protein in, and understanding that, every morning, some mornings I might, okay, literally all I can muster this morning is, a bagel and some fruit. And so, as soon as we're done with practice, I gotta make up ground. I gotta have 3 bowls of pasta, or I gotta do something to combat that. But it really is the kind of undercovered part of camp that not a lot of people think about. It really is it's more important than you might realize.
Yeah, no, it's a constant thing for otherwise you look up and you've lost 13, 14 pounds and you're not as ready to go for the opener. And people who are breakfast people do not understand people who are not breakfast people. I'm completely with you. I haven't had breakfast since March. And if you told me I could never have breakfast again, I'd be like, that's fine. I'm cool. Now, if you told me I can't have dinner, we're going to have a fight.
I got you.
I'm that way. So there's a lot of people that are that way. So I get it. Lane Kiffin talked a lot at SEC Media Days, Mason, about culture, program culture. You guys obviously have a lot of talented newcomers that have come in from all over the place, Western Kentucky and USC and Georgia Tech and Auburn. And I'm leaving school, Central Michigan. I'm leaving schools out. But there's a lot of guys, and Lane talked about how, guys have come from places where they did it different ways. And, you're asking guys to kind of form a family, a homogenous bond. He brought up culture a lot at Media Days without being asked about it by reporters or whatever. How much of a objective is that for you guys getting started with camp, building culture, building chemistry, building team, when I know you've been working out together and stuff like that, but now you're out on the field together, getting that going here in the next month?
Like I said, I think these 3 weeks of camp are extremely important for that. And that's one of the things I was talking about when I said, camp drags on sometimes, but it really is, the decider and kind of the unifier for your team as you go into season. You have all these different cultures coming in, like you said. You have Central Michigan, you have the West Coast, USC, and you got Group of Five, and you got Auburn. You got all these different styles of players. I think one thing that Lane did a really good job of, for the most part, is bringing in guys who have a good mindset. I think most of the guys that he's brought in, they're workers. They're people who are going to show up on time and show up early and do what they need to do. So as far as butting heads with the culture that he's trying to set up, I don't think that has really been an issue. A lot of guys just kind of, I know he did like the whole puzzle piece thing. That was kind of his, little mantra. It was for recruiting, but it really does kind of parallel to, I think, what he did, which is putting pieces of the puzzle together. And he didn't really just throw guys in there. The guys fit, in the right spots. And that's why I liked, Ole Miss so much, is because I felt like it really was, a seamless fit and Broker and the way the whole line settled out. I felt like, it was planned. It wasn't just, we're going to go grab somebody from the portal.
We've talked about this a little bit on the show, and I'm not keeping you much longer at all because you've got a bunch of stuff.
You're good
today. But the offensive line's I think when people talk about this team, I know when I look at it, I go, I think offensive line's a strength on this team. You've got, Nick's been playing in the SEC for 3 or 4 years, whatever it's been, and he's moving inside, which is, I think, more his natural position. And Jeremy has started a lot of games at the SEC level, but he's moving from right tackle to left tackle. You've played a ton of college football, but you're moving into the SEC at right tackle, and you guys have some other experienced guys. I thought Eli Acker did some really good things late last season, and it looks like he has a really bright future. There's some other guys that I know you're trying to build depth. I promise I'm getting to a question here.
You should.
But the offensive line, you guys not only should be good, but you kind of have to be good, right? When you have 2 quarterbacks who don't have a ton of experience, and you're replacing Matt Corral. I know you didn't play with Matt, but Matt was in the face of the program the last year and a half or so. And, you figure at least early you're going to take a step back at quarterback with the program a little bit. And yet you've got these talented running backs, Zach Evans with all of his ability, and Ulysses Bentley, and people are so high on Quinshon Judkins, and Kentrell Bullock have had some flashes. the running game figures to be a big part of what you do, and offensive line play is as a huge part of a running game. How much pressure is it on you guys? I don't know if pressure is the right word, Mason, but how much urgency is it on you guys? Hey, we got to be good, and we got to be good right out of the gate, and we've got to be ready to carry this offense for a little while.
I think there is some pressure there, but there also is a lot of guys who are, tested or have the ability. I mean, I think people, Jeremy slips through the cracks of people's thoughts a lot. Jeremy didn't give up any sacks until the Sugar Bowl, I think, when he was on, basically 1 foot. He's a heck of a player, and he's a left tackle. I mean, that's what he is. He is a, dominant left tackle. Nick's up for, every award in the book right now, and came back and has very high stock and is going to be one of the, if not the best guard in college football, in my opinion. And, you got an experienced center in Caleb Warren who can call the plays and know where things are going. And the young buck, Eli Acker, like you said, really coming on, a great leader, great vocal guy, very athletic. So you really do have 5 guys that have kind of been there before, so to speak. And so the pressure, maybe not, but the understanding that, hey, we have 2 young quarterbacks. We have a new running back room. We have a lot of new receivers that need to step up. This offense, most veteran group is the offensive line. And the pace setter usually is the offensive line, or at least definitely is on this team. So you're going to have, in my opinion, and that's not saying that those young cats at quarterback aren't great leaders, but, Coach Thornton has really put the assignment on us. Hey, we might have to set the pace, this year. That a lot of this offense might fall on us just because we are the senior most group. We are that group, and we encourage that. We want that. We want to set the pace because we feel like we can set the pace. And so, pressure might not be the perfect word, but there is emphasis on us, setting the tone and with how loaded our running back room is. Why not on the ground and then surprise people with, how gifted those young quarterbacks are and how many wide receivers, Malik Heath, and these guys coming in. I think people are going to be really impressed with, how talented our receivers are as well.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I mean, if I do a radio show out anywhere in Texas or wherever, and someone, they get me on and talk about Ole Miss, the first question is quarterbacks. The fans, when they go to a practice, the first thing they're looking at is the quarterback, which quarterback sticking out, all that stuff. Inside the building, is it completely different than that? You guys, hey, we're just going to work and one of these guys is going to do it? Or is this a thing that, hey, when you guys are just hanging out at the place, you're kind of talking about the quarterback deal? It's kind of natural to talk about quarterbacks in a game that is so quarterback driven. How much is not having, at least as of this moment publicly, one quarterback who's the guy, a talking point?
Yeah, I feel like, in the building, most of the guys are so worried about what they have to do. Yeah. It kind of takes, second place to your importance. I feel like I'm, right now so concerned on how can I help Ole Miss? How can I maximize myself for Ole Miss? It kind of falls behind. I feel like as soon as I step out of the building and go, eat somewhere or talk to a family member or anything, it doesn't matter. We were talking about it the other day. We were sitting around and, some of the offensive linemen just, having dinner. And we were like, I swear, they care more about it outside. It's all you talk about outside. And it's all anyone wants to know about. And then, you come in the building and it really is business as usual. And I think that's a testament to how Lane structures the sort of business-like program that he does. It's just going to happen. And, someone's going to win the job and someone's not. But he's not going to allow it to drag our practice down. I honestly will turn around and I won't know who's back there because they do such a good job of rotating and splitting reps and giving all these guys an equal opportunity where it's not like a big deal in terms of, who's in right now because, there's not a huge drop off when either of those guys are in. And even Kincaid Dent, honestly, comes in and picks up a lot of slack and might surprise, you when you turn around. So I think outside the building, obviously it's a talking point because like you said, you're going from Matt Corral to, a young, new quarterback and you have the transfer situation. But, in the building, it is as business as usual as you can get it with, ignoring the glaring obvious that, yes, we don't have a clear-cut quarterback right now, and that's just not a luxury we have this year.
Last thing. So here in the next few hours, you're going to get started on this last season of college football. And for you, it's one that, you had to put a lot of thought into about where you were going to go and whether you were going to go. I mean, you could have explored your professional options and you want to get to the Senior Bowl and you want to do some things to improve your stock. Obviously, you're going to be fine. No matter what happens with football, you're a bright guy. You've got a lot of future things down the road that don't involve football. But I know that playing professional football is something you want to do, and this is a huge year for that. Is that something that you have to kind of put out of your mind a little bit and just focus on the day-to-day, or is it something that's unavoidable that, hey, this is a really big year in terms of this is kind of one big job interview for me?
Yeah, I think it is important, and that always is kind of in the back of your mind. But as the season starts, it kind of does have to be shut off. I mean, you talk to agents all summer, and you all you're talking about is after the season, and I've kind of just slowed it down and said, hey, after the season, I mean, I got to get through the season first. So one thing before the other. It really is the most important thing, and so for me, let's talk game one. Let's talk day one of camp. Coach Thornton does a good job of reminding me all the time, I like to get ahead of myself and plan ahead and watch this film and ask this question. Let's focus on the here and now. Let's get through today. And so, yes, I think definitely I am excited for what's ahead, and it does kind of ring in the back of my ears. Hey, this really matters. But that's why I came here. And I have the skill and the heart and all that to be here. And so let's take it a day at a time and let it shake out where it shakes out. And I think that's true for the whole team. Honestly, we can put all these labels on the team, and we were 10-2 last year, and what are we going to be this year? And look at this half of the season. But we got to get through the first week of camp. We got to get through the first game. We got to get through. There's a lot that actually has to be done. So it's time to go. Essentially, the time is now. So,
well, the next time we get together for the Mason Brooks Show, we'll be talking about the season opener and Troy and all of that. So it should be a lot of fun. I will leave you alone, other than whatever I see you out at camp when I'm doing my job. I'll leave you alone between now and then. Good luck with camp. Hope it goes well. Hope you get through it healthy, and look forward to talking to you on the other side as we get so much closer to the 2022 season.
Thanks, Neil.
All right. That's Mason Brooks. We'll be back in about 3 or 4 weeks for another edition of the Mason Brooks Show. Again, brought to you by The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. For Mason Brooks, I'm Neil McCready. Until next time, take care.